Okay, so this is our Airbnb discussion. So, for value and use, what did you guys think?
Uh, I thought Airbnb is pretty sweet. It's all about the effectiveness of a product, and it's measured by like the customer's overall satisfaction based off of Airbnb's like customer reviews and how much it's growing. It just shows that like their value and use, they're doing a great job, pretty much.
Yeah, to add to that, Airbnb, their use, I think like one of the main elements of their satisfaction is basically customer feedback. And in the article, it says that they have a 100% customer satisfaction rate, and most of their reviews, written reviews and like critiques, have given it nothing but good ratings. They say good things about it, and it's just a really great and convenient way to stay somewhere in a place you're unfamiliar with in a cool spot, and um, it's also at a pretty low price considering what you could be staying in, and customers really like that.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I've stayed in Airbnb a couple of times in different countries, and I absolutely love it. I'll use it over and over again. I think it's fantastic. I like that it's a unique experience and something completely different than you'd get in a hotel. It's really personable, super unique, and a great rate. And a lot of the people too, like I didn't think about talking about this earlier. Like a lot of the hosts that they're doing it, it's their house. Even if I'm in a foreign country, like, they're really easy to access, and they've been really helpful. A couple of people would like lay out plans of like different places we could go and things we should see, or like places to eat. So I absolutely loved it. Which, like, a hotel, they give you like recommendations, but it's normally places that are like sponsoring them, where if it's a local, they just know really cool stuff to do. So I absolutely have been like hands down super satisfied with it.
And I guess moving on to value and exchange, one of the big things for that is it's for fulfilling customers' needs. And well, first off, customers go for staying in a unique place for a low price, so they fulfill that easily. And then off of the article, it said that people renting out their spaces use that extra money for just like daily expenses, not like saving up or anything, just for everyday expenses. So on both sides, buyers and like or travelers and renters are definitely like I guess fulfilling what they need out of the Airbnb.
Yeah, to add to that, like one of the great examples I've seen from the article was that if you stay like in a hotel in like Manhattan or a really congested city area, you can come across hotel rates that start from around 250 to 300 to $350, whereas if you just get like a comparably nice hotel room, or I'm sorry, a comparably nice apartment, generally it's going to be bigger, it's going to sleep more people, and a rental cost for that from Airbnb only be around 150 to $180, and it's just a better option to stay somewhere. It allows travelers to visit more places under a certain budget. It's a just a pretty much a great way to travel cost efficiently.
Yeah, my best friend's sister actually lives in New York. She lives in Harlem, and she has like four kids. So whenever they go on vacation, they'll rent out her apartment in Harlem because it's ridiculously expensive, and so it allows for them to go on vacation without like being seriously like financially set back. Because like you said, congested cities like that where it's high volume, high demand, and the cost of living is ridiculous. Like people just can't afford to leave just alone for the fact that they're not even going to be using their house and they're still paying for it. So it creates opportunities for both, the people traveling to the places and the renters themselves. It allows them to have a little bit more freedom.
Yeah, and that it leads straight into value distribution just because uh, the convenience of Airbnb is like monumental. I mean, hotels are convenient kind of because like you can stay at them in most cities, but Airbnb like could literally be anywhere. Like there's always a house that could be open for Airbnb, like Ashton said, in different countries, like places you would never expect. So their distribution is like one of their really big strengths.
Yeah, I think that their value distribution is absolutely phenomenal. There's like random countries I'll look at to like see if they're in all the time, and I have not yet, knock on wood, any country I've wanted to visit. I've been able to always find a house in, and also let's be honest, like you can get it from like an app on your phone, which is pretty easy. Like they just like their whole like situation of finding places and how many different really quirky and unique locations they have just gives them such a competitive edge that a lot of hotels don't have because you can stay, in a little bungalow in the middle of the ocean for way cheaper than you can. I mean, a lot of people can't afford to stay at a bungalow. It's like on the Four Seasons in a random country or like in a beachy country. It really allows like everybody to travel anywhere.
Yeah, just to add to that, from what I've seen, it does kind of, in a way, top some of the like real expensive, pricey hotels that are in great locations, even in like tropical tourist attractions such as like the Bahamas, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands. I do have an uncle who has a property in St. John, and he in the Virgin Islands, and he's not there a lot because he works off the island, but he just kind of rents it out all the time. He has used Airbnb in the past, and it's pretty great. You can just kind of stay in a nice villa, and you avoid like larger scale hotels who will charge a much greater price for basically the same amount of time if you want to stay like a week or something. So it's a great way to basically open up a place and make money off of it.
Yeah, and like to add on to that, just distribution, like it said in the article that in 6 months they went from 5 million bookings to 10 million bookings, and like just that increase is like absolutely insane, and just shows like as they go into or as we like feed into value and finance, like their financial, I guess, base is just going to continue to strengthen because their customer base is becoming more loyal because of the reviews, and more people start to use it. So as more and more people start to use it, their finance is just going to get stronger and stronger. Like right now, they're worth like $1.9 billion, and they've only been around since 2008, which is kind of absurd how quickly they're growing and how much revenue they're making off that. But it's pretty sweet to see that their like finances that strong in such little time.
Yeah, I don't have much more to add to that except for I just like that they don't like since they cut out so much of the middleman. Like the company takes a relatively small portion of what like us as the people staying there are paying. Does that make sense? So then people who are renting out their homes make a pretty good profit off of it as well. So I feel like that they're just going to continue on that track because it's honestly like it's fair to both the consumer and the person who's renting out their home. Like everyone's getting a really good deal. So yeah, I'm just thinking that their finance is going to continue to do well.
Yeah, with that, it really I think it kind of makes the real estate market really skyrocket because with that people will buy more properties, condos, apartments, and they'll throw them on Airbnb if they live in maybe a certain location people like to visit, or even not, even if it's just like a city, people like that need to travel for business can rent it out if they need to stay there for a longer period of time, and it's a solid way to make money. It makes the housing market shoot up. And as you can see, Airbnb, I know in 2012 they were landed $190 million in revenue, and that's pretty crazy considering at that point they've only been around for a little close to 4 years. So I think that their finance is probably so far their best asset of what they've had.
Also with that, I just was thinking really fast. With a lot of those big hotels, like every so often you have to go through, you have to renovate, you have to make sure like everything's up to code. There's just so much that goes into running a big chain like that. You have to hire all the staff. So there's, even a lot of the really established chains, they might be making a lot, but they also have to pay out so much money for everything else that goes into running a hotel. Whereas Airbnb, it's like it's just already someone's home, so they have more of a room to capitalize on that because they're not really putting anything back into being Airbnb, except for like their insurance and like the few minimal fees that they have to reestablish it. But other than that, like it's pretty much pure profit.
Yeah, for sure. Like them not having to pay, kind of skipping all those like codes and permits and buying all those extra liabilities helps them will just pretty much grow more, which kind of leads us into value and fitness. And well, I mean, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Like we've mentioned, their growth is just like skyrocketing. And as our generation kind of like finds out about it more, like I just heard about Airbnb this semester. So as we like continue to like find out about it and it just becomes bigger in like the tech industry, so Airbnb is just gonna like keep on just climbing the ladder.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool that Airbnb they have like several major like I guess you could call them like bases, like where they're based at. They have a big one in Stockholm, Sweden, New York City, and I think it's just really cool that globally they're already really popular. And like Kyle, I also haven't even heard of them until this semester, and I brought it up to some people I know that travel a lot, and they knew all about it and said it's a great way to stay somewhere or make some money if you can. And I guess immediately when they came out, they figured, hey, we can branch out all over the globe and make some really cool vacation spots. Like I know in the background of this article, there's like a tree house. I think that's really cool. It's a really creative idea, and they've obviously branched out to a wide variety of places.
Yeah, I think that as more people learn about it, and like millennials in our generation, I think are a lot more open to traveling that way. And then I think I mean, even my mom has stayed in Airbnb. I think a lot of people are just becoming more open to that sort of idea of having something really custom and unique. But also as our generation like grows up doing it, and then we have homes of our own, it's like we're already open to the idea. We're already kind of primed for doing it, so it could become like a complete norm. It could really like their room for growth is just kind of like unlimited because there's always going to be new people finding out about it and like new cool places to go and new people buying homes that want to do it and so yeah, I just think that as long as they're able to like adapt to what's going on, that they'll be fine.
Yeah, and just off of that, one downside is I guess as they grow, it may not be a downside, but it talked about how they've had stories of like thefts or things like that, and they had to install a liability guarantee of up to $50,000. And the only bad thing is if more of that happens or if bigger misfortunes happen in the company, then like liabilities might increase, insurance might increase. We could just take away from the finance side of it, but as long as they're, I guess, smart in their planning and I guess have good lawyers and attorneys, and they can figure out how to deal with that in their growth side. So
Yeah, also same kind of with value and fitness. I mean, they have to obviously be careful like what kind of countries they expand to or like where they're opening up to, just because some countries are unsafe for people to stay in. Just certain demographics don't like each other. It's sad to say, but so that could also be like a potential downfall or something that they have to worry about. Is this country really safe for us to open up to people? And just if they have any incidences that happen, they have to like almost scale back.
agreed.
Yeah, I agree as well. It's a little bit of liability, but I think like since they have such good customer satisfaction rates, I think it'd be kind of like hard for some people to cause problems with the company. And of course, you're going to have your outliers that will, and it's going to happen. But I'm sure as long as it stays to a very small percentage, then Airbnb will still be on the rise, still be growing in revenue, and it shouldn't be a huge problem. And it seems like they tackled their security pretty well, considering I haven't heard too many crazy stories. And you gotta like probably look for some, I'm sure, but for the most part, it seems that they've done a really good job with that.
Yeah, I
All right,
agree.
Airbnb is a win from us.
Yeah, go Airbnb.
Airbnb.